Hey y'all, it's Angela here. Today I'm talking to you guys about virtual and augmented reality. So what's important to note is that they are similar, right? So they're both different kinds of technology that alter reality, but they are different, and so that's important to remember when you start looking at them. Alright, so let's talk about virtual reality. Virtual reality is being totally submersed in a different reality, and that reality is computer generated, and you don't see your environment. You see a totally different environment that the computer has generated. And how that works is everyone's seen those like giant headsets that you put on your head, and you're in a game or you're in the jungle somewhere, and so you're totally removed from your current world and you're placed into another one. So in those headsets, they have things, all sorts of technology, but basically there's, lenses that go right up next to your eye, and they trick your brain into thinking that you're somewhere that you're not. The same way that headphones take over your hearing, virtual reality headsets and things like that take over your vision altogether, so it tricks your brain thinking that you're in a different place. So how exactly does virtual reality work? So these headsets, which is like the most common kind of way that people use virtual reality nowadays, these headsets have different kinds of technology in them. First and foremost, there's the lens that I mentioned that goes right up next to your eye that helps trick your brain into thinking that you're in that world. Second of all, there are things called a gyroscope and an accelerometer. Those things, they track the movement of your head, and so they can see where you are in the game, and or in the environment, or whatever reality you've put yourself into. It tracks your movement to make it more realistic for you. In addition, a lot of the newer headsets because the old ones used to you could put your phone in them. Some of the newer headsets in virtual reality technology doesn't use your phone. It actually uses its own software and stuff like that, but it needs sensors around you. And so you can put sensors all around your room. So whenever you peek around a wall in your virtual reality, that the sensors pick up on what you're doing, and inside your virtual reality, you also get to turn and look around the wall. Everyone's seen a lot of those fail videos where people doing virtual reality smash the wall or punch through something that they weren't supposed to, because in their virtual reality they thought they were punching something, and they end up punching a hole in their living room wall, which is super funny. So there are benefits for sure of virtual reality, and it's insane technology, and it's so innovative. Some of those benefits are for things like the Air Force, or if you can't afford to travel to this or that, you can go see different parts of the world, and you can do things that you never thought you could do before in your own living room, and that's really cool, and it's actually much cheaper. Like for the Air Force, it's much cheaper to crash a plane in virtual reality than it is to crash an actual plane in real life. So that's really awesome. There are some drawbacks, of course. Number one, it's a newish-ish technology, and so it's not perfect yet. Also, having those lenses right up close to your eye is not the best for them. So let's talk about augmented reality. Augmented reality has actually been around for a long time, and I don't know if I'm just dumb, but I didn't really know exactly what it was. So when I looked into it, augmented reality is augmenting our reality, which sounds redundant, but basically you see the world that you're in contrast to virtual, where you're in a completely different world. Augmented, you are in this world, you just see things differently, or you can see things on top of other things, there's two layers, right? So at first when I heard about this, I thought it was one of those crazy sci-fi things where your contact lenses have computers in them and you scan everything as you walk around. And come to find out, that's not actually that far off. However, on top of those really cool sci-fi thingies, augmented reality is part of our everyday life, and I didn't realize it. So, for example, augmented reality has been part of football for like forever. How many of you go to a football game and actually see a yellow line for the first down on the field? It's not actually there. They put it on top of the actual reality. So basically the way it works is that whatever camera or computer or whatever you're looking through to view the world, that computer or camera uses machine learning to analyze the world around you and to give you information on top of that, right? So I figured to demonstrate how common it actually is in our daily lives, I figured I'd give a couple examples. Once again, the military is really working with augmented reality as well. But on our personal lives, for those of us who are not in the military, we actually see it all the time as well. In addition to football games, obviously, there are other things like wayfair.com where you can take a picture of your room and you can say, what couch would look great in my living room? And you can pick through all the different couches and orient them differently. And you can see what a couch that's not actually in your living room would look like in your living room. Also, another really common example is Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go blew up, and it was a huge thing. And that was augmented reality. There wasn't actually Pokemon in your front yard, sadly for all of you. Augmented reality is an incredible technology. And there are so many benefits, like you get to see the world in a whole new way, and you get to interact with your own world in a revolutionary way, which is really awesome. And you can, instead of having to be like, oh my gosh, what's the speed limit? You could look at the road and it would say, this is the speed limit on this road. Or, while you're driving, your windshield maybe one day will say the same way that Waze will tell you there's a cop 30 yards ahead. Maybe your windshield will tell you there's a cop 30 yards ahead. However, there are some downfalls. For example, it is pretty isolating. There have been studies that show that the technologies like this do create isolation in a world where we're already experiencing a lot of technology isolating people. Augmented reality, because everything you need would be not only accessible to you, but accessible to you in your face, it does make it more difficult to interact with the world around you. For example, you go to a museum, and instead of asking somebody, hey, who made that? Who created this? Or asking someone at the front desk, hey, where's the restroom? All you would have to do is look around, and it would say restroom to your left, because you don't have to interact with anybody, because all the information you need is already given to you. You don't have to interact with anyone else around you. Anyway, that's a little bit of a crash course on augmented technology. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you get the chance to either be part of those demonstrations or try those things out, it's a really cool technology, and I think it'll change the way you view your world or potentially other worlds. Thanks, y'all. Bye.